Hello. So today we're going to go over Scenaios, which is an elaborate video, a lot of information. So whatever is confusing after you watch this, please email Scott or I, and we can get into it more in depth. But this will be a long video, and hopefully I'm able to explain it clear. So this is the priority list tab. This is where you get the information from us and then report certain information back to us. So the questions in yellow are what we will be answering, providing you, and then the questions in red are what you will provide us. There's going to be multiple jobs in this list, and you should work on them in the order that they appear here. Alright, so in this instance, you have your scenario video. That's the client. It's obviously not a real name. That's just what we're calling this. Address, tech, and this is the important stuff. So the number of scopes and special notes. These are the things that are really going to make a difference. So now, when it says there are 3 scenarios for a job, you're going to have to make 3 separate work scopes and run 3 scenarios in analysis and reports. I'll show you how to do all that in a few minutes, but that's an important number for you to know. And then special notes, this might, have, say, oh, we don't have the usage yet. When you do this certain scope item, make sure you add this or that, or this is going to be a little weird. Anything out of the ordinary, we're going to put in this section. And then here, you're going to tell us when you completed it. Was usage put in RHA? That's important because this number, the SIR, is going to be based on the usage. So if the usage isn't in, then we know that we need to change the SIR later. But we'll get to that again, and then the SIR, I'll show you where you're going to get that from and how to report it back to us. Okay, so this is the first job you'll be working on. You'll go and find the client folder that we've shared with you, open that up, and you should have a WSOA file, a Powersmith work scope, and there should be usage in the client folder. So, for this particular job, I have actually put usage in already. So, just because you know how to do that, and it's not imperative that we go over that at this stage. So, what you can do is we can go back and say, was usage put in RHA? So for this job, yes. And then we will bring it back here. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. Got sidetracked. Alright. So we're going to open up. I find that downloading it is the easiest way. Then we're going to take a look at the work scope. So, while this loads, here we go. So, I made a dummy work scope for us to review, because you know how to make work scopes. I left some stuff highlighted that I want to go over. But instead of going into the details, I just made, just generic templates of new boiler, dense back overhang, insulate pull down staircase, air ceiling, flow and attic, and chimney liner. So I've modeled in RHA, I've made a dummy work scope, and we should be good to go with the first one. So the work scope A is going to stem from the initial that RHA tab. It's going to be pretty much everything that you do normally. Your first step is always the same. So you model things from your RHA tab, and then you're going to check that with your this section here. This is the developed solution area. So this lists all the stuff and the prices. Now, where it starts to get complicated is we're going to have a second set of scopes, a scenario B and a scenario C. So because we stated that we wanted 3 work scopes, the first one's always A, and then if there's 2, that's going to be B, and if there's 3, that means you're going to have an A, B, and a C. So what I recommend doing is once you've got the basic information in here, all the scope items, what I always do is, before getting in the nitty-gritty details, I will go to File, make a copy, so copy of, go Powersmith Work Scope B. Hit OK. And then once more, you can copy and do Powersmith Work Scope C. So now we have 3 work scopes. I'm going to go back to Drive, type in the client name, hit Enter, and then you'll see that there are everything that relates to that name that you have access to will pop up. And you see how this says shared to the folder scenario video. You need to make sure that these are also shared. So I would drag Powersmith Workscope B into the client folder, see how that changed right there, and do the same for C. Alright, so now when we click in the folder, we have 3 work scopes and the WSOA. So before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we want to make sure that work scope A is all tidied up. So let's open up Powersmith Work Scope A. And I'm going to look at RHA, and to get most of this information, the total project cost, ROI, and the SIR, all we have to do is hit the total button. So the total cost of this project, refresh, always make sure that it's up to date. This project is $15,309. So plug that in, $15,309. And we want to pop that down here as well. $15,309. And the ROI is actually the SPB. I know it's confusing. We work with a lot of programs that everyone has to call it something different, but this number and this number are the same. So in this instance, it's going to be 539. 5.39. And then lastly, we have the SIR, which is 3.84. 3.84. Alright, so these numbers are subject to change based on how we review the scopes and if they work for us. So I'm going to ask that you leave these highlighted, but you can type them in. But once you've written it down for work scope A, you're going to come back here and say work scope A 3.84. And we can make this bigger if that would be helpful. So back to this. So we have that, and it looks like the work scope A is just about done. So what this is this is the first year annual savings. That's what FYAS is. Now for Powersmith work scope A, you do not need to fill that out. So you can just close that one up. And this is looking good. We will take care of the rebates on our end. So you have finished Powersmith work scope A. What we want to do now is find what Powersmith work scope B is. So when you're scrolling down the WSOA, you can find the next one, which is always going to be the solutions are going to be based on price size. So A will be the most expensive, B will be the second most expensive, and C will be the cheapest one, the least expensive. So this one you can see is $14,995. And it says, for these scenarios, simply delete the rows that are not included in the solutions. What we'll do is we'll change this title to indicate scenario B, but as you can see, you have this information, and then if you scroll down further, another one pops up, and that's at 827. And all the other stuff is 827. So that's how you know how these jobs coincide. But for right now, this is Powersmith work scope B. So we want to take a look at what we have. We have attic insulation loose, we have air sealing, insulated pull down staircase, then a chimney liner, and an ES24, a new boiler. So taking a look at what we had in the original work scope, we will notice that actually an overhang was taken off. So we want to figure out what the savings and job price and SIR is for that new work scope scenario B. So we cross-reference RHA with the list of scope items. So we see boiler, boiler, chimney liner, chimney liner. And what you can do is, as you see these things, you can highlight them. So if you click on it once, and we have attic, air sealing, insulated pull down staircase. So if you hit this once, and then hit the control button, you can highlight multiple scope items. And then if you double click them, they get unhighlighted. So we know that the attic, air sealing, insulated pull down staircase, chimney liner, and boiler are part of this solution, this scenario B. So that just leaves out the overhang. So we won't select this, and we'll select that. And what we do is we hit this button right here, add to scenario. There's your contract, you hit OK, and here you double click and you rename it. Scenario B. Hit OK. And that's going to take a second to think. And then we have this section, items, everything recommended, proposed, blah, blah, and you want to hit the scenario. You see how this changed to scenario B. So there was already a scenario in here because this is just a test job, but this is the one that we want. We want scenario B. Hit refresh and watch what happens to the overhang. Dun, 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 it goes away. So now this is our solution. It's everything besides the overhang. And we go and we see that the project price is $13,476. Which is different because I'm an idiot and I did the math wrong. So let's go take a look back at, because the hash doesn't have any money in it, 386. Oh, see, you can't change that from here. So I'm going to go back to recommended. This is good. You have to get it right the first time, otherwise the scenarios don't work. Okay, go back to recommended. Check the different prices. So we have 386. That matches. Air ceiling is 2352. That matches. Ooh, attic flat does not match. So 3981. Having said that, the work scope A is probably off because I made a mistake, which means you would have to go back and check that again. But we're just gonna keep on keeping on, so we can just get through this. Sorry, I made a mistake. Okay, so we go to itemized, and as we said before, this is scenario B. We don't want the overhang, so we're going to add to scenario. And we're going to name this B. Scenario B, so we can tell the difference between the other one. So, go to hit the scenario button, see that we got the one that we want, and then we hit refresh. That will pop up. We have totaled $14,996. It's $1 off. That's fine. We just want the work scope and RHA to match up. So in this instance, we will go back to the client folder, find scenario B, and then locate. Okay, so in this case, dense back overhang, which is not in this work scope, is number 2. So we delete that. And then we got to change these numbers. So this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. 14,996. 14,996. 0. 14,996.00. And now in this one, fill these numbers out again by going to total, so that's 5.41 SPB, 5.41, and then SIR, 3.96. 3.96. So now that this is a scenario and not just the work scope A, we want to fill this number out finally. So in this instance, it's going to say it's the FY dollar save, it's the FYAS. So $2,770.09. $2,770.09. And then again, we fill this out. And you want to leave the ROI, the SIR here, and highlight it. So we go to back to this section. And just get a little breathing room. Say work scope B equals, I forgot, 3.96. 3.96. that's golden for that. So we go back to recommended, hit refresh, itemized, okay, confused RHA, and now that's loading. We want to find what solution C was. So keep scrolling down. So you see this new title. This is 8276. So nothing, nothing, nothing. Chimney liner and a boiler. So these are the only two things in this solution. So wait for RHA to stop thinking. And now we're going to run another scenario. We're going to hit boiler, hold the control button down, select the chimney liner, click add to scenario, rename this scenario C. Hit the scenario button, look at the drop down. Now we have 4 of these. We want to make sure we have the right one. Scenario C. Refresh. And here we go. Go back to totals, 8277, and we're going to have to record these numbers. We already have this page up, so we can write this down. Work scope C equals 6.15. Look nicer, kind of. And we're going to pop over to the client folder. And open Workscope C. And make the necessary changes. So, overhang, staircase, air ceiling, attic, all gone. Change this to number 2. Project price 8277. ROI, which is the SPB, ended up being 3.59. 3.59. And the SAR was 6.15, I believe. Double check that. Yep. And the first year annual savings, FY dollar save, is 2303.59. 2303.59. So we'll unhighlight that. We'll re-highlight this. And the price in here, 8277. And obviously, you're going to want to be thorough and make sure that these prices add up to this, and that the prices in here also add up, because there's a chance that between Workscope A and B, we might drop the price of air sealing or attic insulation. So you just want to make sure that all that is consistent. But for the purpose of this video, I skimmed over that information. So now this is a complete work scope. Whatever recommendations or whatever appear, drag that over to the notes. If there's attic storage or pathway, put that in the notes. And just tidy up everything else that you have to do. And you could just say completed by BEM, and then put today's date, 7/24/2013. Alright, I realize this has been a very long video, and I appreciate your patience. Let me know if there's anything we can do to clarify anything that might have been confusing. Alright, thank you.